Hello, my name's Whimsy Gamer, and welcome to my new Sims 4 series, The Renovation. The purpose of this series is to take a trip back in time to the Sims 3 worlds and the homes that were lovingly created by the Sims 3 team. I'll be recreating these homes in The Sims 4, landscaping, building, and decorating as close as possible to the originals. After that will be the renovation and redecoration to a more Sims 4 style. Both versions of the house will be uploaded to my Sims 4 gallery, which can be found in the description down below. I hope you enjoy yourselves, and I'll talk to you in a bit.
As the leaves start falling down and the shadows above our town, I can finally see you now. I see the fear inside your eyes, I see the pain in your smile. I can finally see you now. Oh, we're radiate all over the world. We used to radiate, get radiate, but now we're drowning. As the leaves start falling down and the shadows above the town, we used to radiate, get radiate, but now we're drowning. I see the fear inside your eyes, I see the pain in your smile. I can finally see you now. Oh, we radiate all over the world. We used to radiate, get radiate, but now we're drowning. perfect way. Time zone speak, got me on delay. 'Cause across a million seas, would you do that for me? Fly the goddamn world 3 times, and I'd run all the red lights across a million seas just to have you next to me. Paris and Tokyo, I go where I have to go. Screw geography, but would you do that for me?
Alright, now that the actual making of the home is complete and everything is in order, we're going to go ahead and jump into the renovation. Okay, so the first room that I usually like to start with in my house builds is the bathroom. And the reason why that is because the bathroom is a smaller space for me to work inside of. It also doesn't demand too much attention, but you can put enough stuff or things inside of the bathroom in order to make it look a bit unique. In the bathroom, I didn't want to keep the paneling because it wasn't really what I wanted to go for in the bathroom or even with the house in general. And I didn't want to do tile because that's not really my thing either. The only time I like to do tile or anything like that is usually on floors, and it's obviously in bathrooms or kitchens. So the color that I chose for this was blue, and it's going to be it's actually going to be a reoccurring theme. It was totally not on purpose, but it just kind of ended up that way. the counters that I had originally anticipated using inside of the bathroom were more of a modern take, because I thought that maybe with the rest of the house I would kind of make it a modern house from what it was. But then I guess anything would be something after after what it was in The Sims 3, because bless their hearts, there wasn't a lot of decorating going on. But then the more I looked at it, the more I didn't really like it, and I came across that sink from, I think that came from the Parenthood pack, and I just figured, well, if I'm going to use that, I might as well just go ahead and use the countertops that go with it. And I didn't want to use a light blue, as much as that would have kind of maybe looked nice against the dark blue. It wasn't what I was going for. Normally in bathrooms, people like to put the mirror above the sink, and that's usually what I do as well. However, with that small window there, I wasn't able to do that, but I also kind of thought that having the mirror inside of the bathroom was also a good idea, so it just kind of ended up above that left counter. I did something a little different with the bath mat there. I ended up putting the paw prints on top of the bath mat to kind of make it look like it actually belonged there, and it turned out pretty okay. I was actually pleasantly surprised with that, because that's not something I would normally attempt to do. I usually try and keep my, you know builds rather, I try stuff, but it's not, you know anything super different. But I guess it's not super different anyway. Since I had already tackled the bathroom, which was the smallest of the areas that I wanted to move on to next were the kitchen and the dining area. I was especially interested in putting in a big breakfast table where those big windows are, because I thought it would just look great. I ended up using the exact same counters that I used inside of the bathroom. At first, I was like, no, I shouldn't do that. It should be something different. But I'm like, we're going with the style. So, okay, so that big cabinet piece that I put in there, my initial plan was I was really hoping that uh, I could fit the microwave underneath of it, because it's got that space between the countertop and the bottom ledge of it. And I tried, you'll see it, but right here, I tried putting the, I tried putting it in there. I tried so hard. I was like, okay, well, what if I just raise the shelf a little bit? Maybe that'll work. And I thought about it, and I was like, okay, it kind of looks good, but then I'm going to have to move all of the other shelves up, and that's just a lot of work, like a lot of tedious work I just didn't want to do. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do with the microwave, but I was able to kind of, I mean, I ended up putting a microwave, but not necessarily where I wanted it. Initially, I thought that maybe I wanted to do a hanging light inside of the kitchen, but the hanging light just didn't really do it for me, because the more I looked at the kitchen, the more I really wanted to put an island in there, because there was going to be an open space between where the kitchen was and the back area, kind of where it looks into the front yard. 90 degrees to where like the front door is. You'll see it's like basically the opposite wall. And I didn't know what I was going to put in that space yet, and it just I felt like this it basically I felt like I could get away with putting in an island. That I just saw it. I was like, okay, I'll just throw that in the corner, and funny enough, it actually just stays there. I never actually moved that thing. I try really hard not to go overboard on decorating a kitchen, and honestly, this is probably the most functioning decorless kitchen I've ever done. I think I throw some knives on the wall, and that's it. Usually there would be, a whole bunch of other appliances. There'd be more decorations. There'd probably be some pictures on the wall, like right on top of the counter. I didn't really go for that this time around. And here I'm just kind of trying to find a overhead light that I can put along that part of the wall where I'm kind of finagling it right there, because I felt that if I was going to have hanging lights, then they needed to be, they needed to fit as though they were just kind of connected from the wall, and it just kind of went over. And at first I thought, hey, I'll put some decorations on top of that ledge there, like some plants and things like that. But eventually, I think I just threw some cookbooks, yeah, on there. And then here, I saw this part of the wall, and initially I was gonna go with I call it the TARDIS picture because it kind of looks like a TARDIS, if I'm being completely honest. I know it's a gate, excuse me, but I just, it wasn't working for what I wanted it to do, and it was too long, and I kind of wanted a picture that would fit inside of that small space, and I had a feeling that I was going to want to put something along the bottom. So I love that picture. You can see me, I shuffle through them several times, and I'll hesitate over one, and then finally I was like, you know what, no, this one looks fine. It's a light blue. There's not a whole bunch of other colors going on. Um, and the first thing I wanted to do was, I have a thing for plants. If this is the first time you've seen me, I haven't put up any Sims content on my YouTube channel, but I used to play The Sims all the time on my Twitch, and I still do every right once in a while. But I'm the plant lady. I like putting plants every freaking where. And at first I didn't want to put a plant underneath of it that was going to cover it up, but then when I found that plant and I put it there, and then I found the other, item that had all the other plants on top of it, it just kind of worked out. And onto the dining room here. I wanted to make use of the new round tables that we got because they're just so lovely. I I tried putting a couple different seats up against it, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Most of the chairs in this game, I just have a very love-hate relationship with them because a lot of these chairs I don't use, and I'm not going to use ever, just because they're not something that I would ever use. So I was trying to mix and match different items, obviously from different sets, but I eventually ended up putting those wicker like chair things. I'm in love with those things, by the way. I use them all the time, and it ended up pretty good. So here I was looking at it, and I was really enjoying the openness of the house, but I really felt like there needed to be a separation between the kitchen area and the rest of the house, just to kind of give it, separation. Like, it's still open, but you know what area is the kitchen and what area is the living area. And plus, I just really like using those trellis, or those lattices inside of houses. I think it looks really neat. So here I was thinking about the rest of the house, and I didn't think that I was going to have enough room to put a computer area inside of the living room or even inside of the bedroom. So I decided that since I didn't know what else to do with that area, and I don't usually like using bars, or juice bars or whatever inside of the game, I decided that this was kind of going to be the officey type area. And I think I throw in a lamp and some greenery here. Whilst or while I figure out what in the heck kind of curtain I'm gonna use. I thought about putting some plants on either side of the walls, and I end up doing it, but my first thought was to put pictures on either side that complemented each other, either stacked pictures or just the long pictures, but I didn't really want pictures. I thought that the green would go better. Also, while I was doing this build, I didn't realize it, but I had accidentally taken off the Sims 3 control, so I was trying to rotate, and you'll see it, but it was really awkward for me when I'm trying to push up the camera more to get like a better angle and to see like where exactly I'm putting things. I got really frustrated, and I go into the menu and I'm like, "What is this? Like, why am I not able to tilt this the way that I want or move it around?" Like, I couldn't even hold down my mouse button and rotate items. I had to use the comma and period keys to do it, and it was really frustrating for me for the first like 15 minutes of this build, maybe even more than that. Actually, I think it's been more than that at this point. before I fixed it. Okay, so by far the hardest part of this build was the TV. For the life of me, I go through so many different ways that I wanted to do this. As far as where I wanted the TV to go, I kind of went back and forth on the couches, but it wasn't really a big deal because couches, I mean, I end up settling for, I think a cheapy couch if I remember correctly. But like where the TV is now, I've, I put the TV there. I think I tried to put a fish tank there and make it all moderny with like a wall around it and some windows looking through, and that was kind of neat for a little bit. But then I'm like, you know what? Where am I gonna put the TV? Like it's not gonna go anywhere. And then I put one of the big fireplaces along the side, and I'm like, okay, well I don't know what I'm gonna go over here, so why don't I just put a huge ass fireplace? Uh, right here, I'm actually segregating the room because since that was initially just one big room, I knew that I could fit 2 rooms there. And at first I thought, oh, I'll make a bathroom. And you kind of see it. I was like, oh, no, wait, never mind. So I just made one room bigger than the other room. So this house has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom and a super small hallway, which just basically gets a grandfather clock thrown in there, and that's it. So I think now I actually work on this, which I made into a toddler room. The reason why I switched from the living room into the toddler room is because I was getting a little bit frustrated because I kept looking at the living room while I was moving stuff around, and I was looking at it and I'm like, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do with this, so I'm just going to move on to a room that's going to kind of be cute and fun, and it'll be easier. At first, when I was doing this, I told myself that I wasn't going to do any more blue because the entire freaking house is blue. And I said, you know what? Green's a great color, so let's do like a green yellow room. And here I am going to struggle with the curtains again. I think doing this curtain part really made me solidify the decision to switch to blue because all of the curtains that I wanted to use either A, didn't fit the style of the house that I was doing, or B, the styles that I like didn't come in colors that I wanted to do. So I really like that tiny dresser, but I usually don't use it in a lot of my builds just because I have a really hard time coordinating it with other things inside of the bedroom. So I think I ended up moving the bed to where the dresser is, and then I just got a different dresser altogether. But the more this was where I started thinking that these colors weren't working out really the way that I wanted them to. There was too much color, like too much rainbowiness, and while cute, yes, don't get me wrong. Excuse me, it was not the color scheme that I wanted. Uh, so yeah, here I'm moving the shelving around, and I wanted to put in a new dresser because just those little stacky ones weren't working for me. Had to take a little bit of a drink. So yeah, basically I put in the dresser, and since the dresser had blue on it, that was when I was just like, you know what? I give up. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna do blue. We'll stick with this. It'll be all right. So I was looking over the lights a lot, excuse me, and while we do have a lot of lights to choose from, a lot of them aren't really things I would normally want. Like, I want more lamps. Like, I want more lamps with shades on them. Also, can we get some some toy house things that aren't that freaking big? Like a 1x2 that can just go flush against the wall? Also, a habit you'll notice that I have is when I'm building, the things that I want to put inside of a room, I'll usually just throw them on the floor somewhere until I'm ready to put them where I want them to go. So if you find anything randomly laying on the floor, that means I meant to put it somewhere. It just it just never got where it was supposed to go. I know that you can get the little toys out of the toy chest, but I think the toys just look really good on those shelves. They just kind of make it look like, you collect toys. Also, another disturbing habit I have is the amount of rugs I use. the I probably have one in every single room of this house. I do, actually. I've one in the well, no, not in the little, not in the computer nook. So I've never used that quote unquote rug thing, but the rug with all of the little paint splotches on it was really super cute, and I thought it fit that room rather well. So after I did that room, I'm like, okay, I'm refreshed, whatever, I'll go back I'll go back to the living room, we can do this. So you're gonna see me go through a whole bunch of couches to kind of see what I wanted to do and the color scheme, because while I wanted to keep it kind of blue, I also wanted to have other colors on it, that way it wasn't just like a blueberry. You weren't living inside of a blueberry. And this is where I start moving the TV around to try and get it to fit, or what I want to do. I really like using the cabinetry to kind of form entertainment systems, but since I already had that um where the computer was, I didn't really want to simulate or copy that exact same thing inside of the living room. I just thought it was a little it wasn't that great. Oh yeah, here's the fish tank thing that I tried. I really thought about it for a minute. If this wasn't sped up, I was probably on that for a good couple minutes. I really wanted that big fireplace to work out, but unfortunately, the space that I was working with was too small, and having it in front of the doorway was just. I didn't like the way that it looked. It wasn't great. And then I really wanted this brick one to work because I'm like, oh my god, I can put it in this little space and it'll look great and it kind of fits. And at first I tried to, and then I tried to put a TV in on top of it. Excuse me. I tried to put a TV on top of it, above the mantelpiece. I was like, you know what? I'll just have the TV floating here because obviously I can't sit there, and that'll work out great. We'll do that. But that didn't end up happening. So I think I did the next best thing, and I settled for getting one of the smaller fireplaces and just putting the TV on top of it. So we did end up with a fireplace in the build, just it wasn't the one that I wanted necessarily. Eventually, the I just ended up using the cheaper couch that they had, just because it didn't have all the other colors like the other couches did, and didn't really have any of the patterns that I wanted. So over there, kind of where the window is, where I'm putting the bookshelves, I ended up putting the cabinets along top of it because I just liked the way that it looked, and it kind of looked like maybe you could store other things up there, like bookcases, games and stuff. But I didn't want the couch underneath of there, and I figured that they'd probably want a sound system because I think that this house would actually have some pretty good acoustic, you know, acoustic tendencies, whatever you want to call it. Not tendencies. I don't know what the hell I don't know what the hell I'm saying. And of course, more rugs. And just decided to slip in a nice coffee table. And at first, I wanted to put those jugs on top of the mantle piece, and at first it worked out, but it was creating these really weird shadows in the game, and I wasn't digging it, so I ended up getting rid of those. So finally, the last room. At this point, I really love decorating houses and stuff, but at some point I just get tired and I'm like, okay, I want this to be over. I want this to be done with. Let's do something simple and sweet, and something a little bit more homey. And of course, I did more blue in the bedroom because I am a blue fanatic. I wanted to put the big clock inside of the bedroom, but I ended up putting it in the hallway there. Also, that hallway does not have a light, and I never put one there. And you can definitely tell that I'm just ready to be done because I'm not necessarily just throwing things in there that I'm like, oh, whatever, this will have to work. That's it's kind of what I was doing, but at the same time, I was like, no, I need to actually continue to keep trying. I'm just, I don't like doing super fancy bedrooms. Bedrooms in The Sims only have two purposes: woohooing and sleeping. That's literally the only reason why they need to be in a bedroom. Also, those two walls don't get any love at all whatsoever. There's no pictures or anything that go on there, so probably a good place to put some family photos. I was not keeping the wood paneling on the outside because, ew. I wanted to two-tone initially, but I decided against it and just did brick on the top as well. I changed the staircase from brown to white. I think I changed. Oh yeah, I put some fencing up because nobody wants to fall down that. And I put a. Oh yes, picket fence. So I wanted to do a picket fence because I don't normally do picket fences in the front, and I kind of missed it. So I was like, you know what, this can work. So I did a picket fence, and for the life of me, I don't know what it is, but when I was trying to put the gate in, I was trying to rotate the gate to where the lock would open on the other side, so I could have two of those small picket fence ones, but the little open, the little latch would be on both sides, so they'd be facing each other. I just had the hardest time with that. And I was like, you know what? If it's not doing what I wanted to do, I'll just get one of these, ones that are two across or two wide. But then I just figured it out. I just looked at the fence from a different angle and got it to work. And here we're just putting in some bushes, moving stuff around. I think I end up moving the mailbox. I moved the hedges and then end up moving the mailbox kind of back where it was. And here I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to put in that little nook there. And then after that, I just wrapped some flowers around the porch and along the side of the house on the front, just to get some color variation. I didn't go ham on the flowers because I didn't really want to overdo it. I just kind of wanted to keep it simplified, maybe add some color here and there. So I think the colors of the flowers that are in front of the house are orange, white, blue, and I think I have a little bit of purple in there. Normally there would just be layers upon layers of flowers, but I really wanted to keep it kind of simple in front of the house because I wanted the house to stand out, but I didn't want it to stand out in a bad way. Kind of like those neighbors that put too many lawn ornaments on their lawn, and you're just like, why? And then at this point, I was feeling kind of done, other than putting the dirt around the flower beds and stuff like that. I was looking at it, and I said to myself, I said, you know, the grass is too green. I need to put, I need to put some some flowers in. And at first I thought I would put in some patio furniture over there, but I decided against it, and I ended up putting a tree over there kind of in the corner. I tried several of them. I was really taken off guard by the jungle one. I was like, oh my god, that's so big. That's such a big tree. And here I am just adding more dirt around the base of the tree. And I put a heating lamp there. I didn't put in any seating or anything, so you can't really, sit outside. I guess you could add that later. I thought about it, but I was like, you know what? No, I kind of like what I'm doing here. I thought about putting in a bird feeder, but meh. And that's it. Alright, this is the newly renovated home. Alright, the first place we're going to go into is the living room. Let me zoom out here a little bit, maybe it's a little easier to see. Got some shelving and some books and things over on the side here. Looks out into the front yard. If you go through here, you've got this little space. I didn't really necessarily want to put anything in front of... Ooh, whoops. I didn't want to put anything in front of that painting right there, but it looks really nice. So, and then I went ahead and I added kind of a wall, that way it would separate the living room from the rest of the space. I like open areas, but I felt like this needed to be closed a little bit more. And then you've got kind of a office nook here in the kitchen area, right next to the dining area. And this is what the kitchen has been transformed into. And then if we go back this way, inside of this room here to our left is the only bathroom in the house. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I went for a very blue theme. I was just kind of digging it. Also, I put the paw prints from cats and dogs on top of the bath mat. I just thought it looked kind of neat. And then this didn't used to be here. This used to just open up into the bedroom. But what I did is I just put in a clock, and then I added 2 separate bedrooms. So you've got the master bedroom here, and then across the hall you've got a toddler's room, which I just kind of added. There is no toddler toilet seat in here, so you'll have to add that of your own. I thought about putting pet stuff in here, but honestly, I don't know what kind of pet you'd have in here. I mean, I could see a cat or a dog being in here. And then if we zoom out, this is what it looks like from top down and from the inside. I haven't play tested as far as whether or not everything works, but I don't really have anything too close together as far as whether or not you can fit. I would assume that you can fit in this little area right here where the dining room set is. I'm pretty sure you can get in there. So there we go. And that is the renovated Pacer Place from Appaloosa Plains. Remember, if you like what you see and you would like me to continue with the series, even if not, I mean, I'm going to keep making more, but if you really like these, make sure you drop drop a like, and maybe even comment down in the description below what you would have done differently, or if there's anything that you would have done differently, or if maybe there's something that I can improve on in the future. But thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are in the world. See ya!